Hey everyone, this is DyanaRozay. Welcome to my channel. This is my official review for Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 6, Episode 1 premiere. It was called A Halt and a Prayer. And I thought it was pretty good for the premiere episode. You know they got to build those storylines up. Now, some of you may remember this, but around Christmas time, Melody was doing some sort of toy drive at the kids' school. And her business partner, I think she's the designer for the home decor line Melody has. Either way, she had went to the school with Melody. Clearly, they ran into Martell. And when Melody came back home that night, she went live and she was cracking up. She started mocking whoever the person was. And she had a good old kiki, but she was saying things like, Mel, please promise me you'll pray. You'll pray about it. You'll pray about it. She was doing stuff like that. And everyone was asking in the chat, who are you talking about? Well, y'all, Martell reveals it himself in this episode. And a whole bunch of other stuff gets revealed in this episode too. We're going to talk about it, but before we begin, please hit that like, subscribe, and your notification bell because that is how others find me here on YouTube. And thank you to all of you for watching my videos and for rocking with me. Now let's get started. So the scene opens up with Melody visiting Kimmy. She actually says in her confessional that she hasn't seen or spoken to Kimmy really since the reunion, which was filmed in October of 2022. And she said that a check-in was long overdue. So she shows up with flowers. Kimmy and Maurice greets her at the door. There's no animosity. There's no, well, girl, you wasn't checking on me before. Why are you here now? None of that. Melody said that she appreciates the people in her life who are willing to understand and get her. And she said one of the reasons she's still cool with Kimmy is because Kimmy respects her boundaries. But that doesn't mean she didn't ask questions. She asked Melody, how was her birthday? And she was basically implying, who did you spend your birthday with? Because she has been paying attention to social media. But Melody keeps it cute and says 37 has been good to her. Then Melody asks Kimmy how she's doing in her health journey. Marie says that Kimmy needs to slow down and rest because she has 2 more chemo treatments to do and she has been ripping and running. Then we get a flashback scene of Maurice talking to Kimmy and telling her to slow down, and she looks like she is sick in this scene. She has her makeup on and her eyelashes, but you could see it in her face that she was sick and she was tired. But then Maurice leaves, goes to work, and he lets the ladies talk, and Kimmy says, listen, I want to throw a party celebrating the end of my chemo treatments. Melody gets super excited, and she's like, tell me what you need me to do. I'll be happy to throw it for you. Kimmy tells her that she would like to take her up on the offer. However, she knows that she's not in the best place with everyone, especially after what happened at the reunion. And Melody says, listen, if you want those people there, I'll be happy to invite them. It's your party, not mine. Kimmy gives her a look like, I'm not so sure. Then Melody picks up her phone like she's doing a fake phone call. And Kimmy picks up a phone, and I guess she's pretending to be Tisha, and they do this whole role play. It was hilarious. And that's how that scene ends. Next, we have Martell and his mother, Marlene. So Martell is having a spa day in this scene. He's getting a facial and a massage at home. Just like we saw Melody do last season, right? Hopefully he's using a different masseuse, but who knows? When Miss Marlene enters the house, she starts screaming out, oh my God, what in the world? What happened to my boy? Martell said, he sounded embarrassed too, but he was like, ain't nothing wrong with me, mama. You guys, I do not care how much Martell preps his mama. And you know he does, okay? He feeds her everything. But it doesn't matter how much he preps her. She is gonna blow the scene every time. Then Martell got a call from Sheree that was so slow and boring. It was like watching water boil. Sheree was calling him from Portugal, okay? And literally no chemistry, no Zaza Zoom, no I miss you, no nothing. The two of them were on a FaceTime and Sheree's castmate, Sanya, popped into the call. Martell had more energy and chemistry with her than he does with Sheree. In confessional, Martell gave a very interesting description of him and Sheree's relationship. He said, they were friends and that they were taking it slow and that she was just someone who was helping him get through the tough times that he was going through right now. Now, we all know that lying comes real easy for Martell. So with all of these staged photo shoots and outings, the fact that Martell isn't willing to follow through with this tells me everything I need to know. Now, I said in a previous video that I thought Sheree was going to get the last laugh and dump Martell on stage, but I feel like Martell is dumping Sheree's ass right now. Anyway, the scene ends with Marlene asking Martell how things have been going between him and Melody since their Destin vacation. Martell says, it feels like I'm at war with my family and that Melody will always be my family. Then Marlene says, I know you miss your family. You guys were beautiful. You had a beautiful family. Now, all of this is weird because Martell is the one who started the war by taking Melody to court to change the custody order. But neither one of them mentions that at all. In confessional, Martell says the last time he saw Melody was at the kids' Christmas pageant, and that she told him, get this, that Melody told him she would pray on being more cordial and having a better co-parenting relationship. And then he had the nerve to say, with a very straight face, that Melody needs to come around on her end. Again, like he doesn't have her in court to take her babies from her. That is diabolical. Then Martell reveals that he is going to counseling, to which his mother says, for what? What's wrong with you? Now, Marlene knows that something is wrong with that man. And based on Martell's outbursts alone, like the one he had with his uncle, okay, I know his mama has seen it. And last year, I questioned whether or not she was a little bit afraid of him. But anyway, we know that Marlene's job is to blow smoke all the way up Martell's bottom. So that's how that scene ends. So next up is Stormy and Courtney. This is their first time on screen as a full-time cast member. To which she should thank Melody Cherie because it was revealed that the reason Stormy is on this show at all is because Melody went to Carlos King and talked him into it. And according to Carlos King, one of his producers had already discussed Stormy for Bell Collective, and he turned her down because she lived on the outskirts of Mississippi. But let's get back to this scene. So they're at home and they are showing their family life. Stormy's feeding her son Chess. And Courtney said, listen, if he's eating solids, then he needs to get off the tit. He also said that he's not just eating solids, he's eating whole steak dinners. Then Stormy said, I want to nurse all our kids. And Courtney said, what do you mean all? We only got one. Then he point blank said, I don't want no more kids. And when Stormy asked why, he gave her a whole list of reasons. Number one, you almost died last time. Number two, I don't want another woman carrying our child, so no to surrogacy. And number three, I don't want our son to feel like he has to compete with a sibling. Stormy said, Courtney, you sound crazy. And he told her, listen, you better go check on your pork chops because I'm tired of talking about it. Now, I don't get the impression that Courtney talks a lot anyway. So when he says he's done with it, he's done with it. So in the next scene, Melody is at home with her kids. They are talking about what they want for Christmas and just having some good old family time. And then they head upstairs and Melody has to make them phone calls to the people on Kimmy's invite list. The first call was to Tiffany and everything went smooth, okay? Tiffany said, I'll be there. The next call was to Tisha, and the fact that she even had to make the call at all irked the hell out of her. But the call played out pretty similar to how her and Kimmy practiced it. The next call was to Stormy, and she really put on a show too. Melody called everybody from a burner phone because no one can have her real number. But when Stormy picks up and Melody says, hey, Stormy, this is Melody. She identified herself. She's speaking in her voice. Stormy asked that woman a half a dozen times, who? What? What number is this? Now, she didn't even give Destiny all of that, okay? And Destiny tried to throw a whole chair at her skull. But okay. The last person she called was Martell, and he literally gasped when he heard her voice. I think he dropped the damn phone, but when Melody asked him if he was okay, he got embarrassed, of course, and he was like, yeah, you called me. Anyway, after she invites him, he accepts. They all accepted, actually. But Martell then says, did you think any more about the prayer? Now, when he was talking to his mama, he said that Melody said she would pray on it. Like she was the one who suggested it. However, in this phone conversation, you can very much tell that he was the one who requested it. So next up, we have Stormy and her mother, Betty. Okay, they are at her house. Betty apparently lives with Stormy now to help her with childcare. Now, y'all remember in the finale episode of season 5, Stormy's mama loaded the clip on her Twitter fingers and go after Melody on behalf of her daughter. Now, I believe Stormy's mom is 61, at least that's what Google is saying. Stormy is 34, Melody is 37. Stormy tells her mom that what she did was actually going to backfire against her and that she wishes she would stay out of her friendships. And her mama responded by saying, I'm not apologizing, and that if you can't take up for yourself, don't be mad at me when I take up for you because you're mine. Now, this scene fell short for me, and the reason why is because I don't understand why Stormy or her mother would have thought anything that Melody was tweeting had to do with either one of them. If it don't apply, let it fly. And why did she use Destiny as an example? You're trying to do to my daughter what you did to Destiny? And to respond as quickly as she did on Twitter lets me know that that animosity, whatever was going on, happened long before the tweet. But Betty's explanation for it was, when I met her at your house, I didn't like her energy. But the reason why there's a camera crew in your living room right now, the reason why your daughter is on TV is because of Melody. She literally made your daughter's dream come true. And the scene ends with her mother saying, if Melody isn't adding value, what good is she to you anyway? Now, that was an interesting choice of words, and maybe they thought that Melody was never going to say she was responsible for getting Stormy on the show, but now that it's out there, they come across as users, and that's not a good look. So, next scene. The guests are arriving to Kimmy's party. Everyone that arrives is supposed to be wearing pink, okay, in celebration of Kimmy finishing her chemo treatment. But Tisha, who we've seen on many occasions dressed in head to toe pink, decided to show up dressed in all red. I wonder why. But Kimmy makes an announcement to everyone, letting them know that she's completed her chemo. She said that her scans have come back completely clean, and that the radiologist said it was so clean, he thought she already had surgery. She did say that the surgery was still on the books and they only have to remove the area that was affected. Then we have Martell. He is having a very nostalgic moment. In confessional, he says he doesn't get to see Melody out with her friends that often. Well, that is because you're divorced. And it's just not clicking for him that his relationship with Melody is not going to be what he had when they were married. Now, we heard Lewis tell him that at the beginning of 4th season when he was talking about he doesn't get to see his kids whenever he wants. And Lewis told him, well, that's what divorce is, man. Like, what's the problem? But Melody said it too when she was talking to Carlos King. She said that Martell has a hard time separating what they do on the show from reality. And because of it, she told Carlos that she has seriously contemplated quitting. Now, Carlos said he had no idea and he wanted to talk to her about it, but we're going to have to see how this plays out. OWN had released, I guess, unseen footage right before the premiere where Martell asked Melody if he could walk her to her car. Now, like I said, it was unaired footage and they did not play it on the show, but I did ask you guys in a poll if you thought that Melody let him walk her to her car, and the vast majority of you, 90% actually said no, you didn't think that Melody was falling for his foolishness. But I asked this question on both YouTube, IG, and Facebook. So be sure to follow me on all those platforms so you guys can participate. And the last scene at the party, Stormy asked Melody if she could, step aside and talk to her for a minute. And she lets her know that, you've changed your number. I tried to contact you. Is there anything wrong? Melody tells her no. She said, I don't have any problem with you. You know that I like my downtime after filming. Again, the same storyline that Destiny had the last 2 seasons, okay? But in the recap of the show last night, Carlos also confirmed that Melody does the same thing with production. So what she is saying when she said, I cut everybody off, the cast, the production team, everyone, is true. And her reason for doing it has been the same, that when she films, it takes a lot out of her. Dealing with her ex is still trauma for her. And when filming is over, she focuses on herself, getting herself back to healthy. She focuses on her children, and she focuses on all of her businesses. But Stormy said, you and I used to talk all the time through text, and then I was texting you and you just stopped texting back. Mel said, I changed my number. Did you try calling me? And Stormy said, yes, but I didn't know. And Mel said, well, did you hear the dun 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 to tell you that I changed my number? And then Stormy switched it up and said, no, I didn't call you. And Mel said, well, why didn't you DM me? And then Stormy said, I'm not going to DM you. And she was offended that she even suggested it. In confessional, Stormy says, I knew in that moment that Melody was never my friend because none of my friends have ever said, DM me. One of the things that Stormy said earlier in the scene with her mother is that consistency was important for her. And what she has failed to do here in her first go round as a full-time cast member is be consistent. So when Stormy was going around doing interviews saying, I don't have a problem with anybody, I'm cool with everybody, I'm not a part of this, that, and the other, people thought that you had the ability to be neutral. When Stormy sat on the season 4 reunion stage and Martell was telling her not to be Melody's friend, she was quick to clarify that we're only getting to know each other, which was fine because no one thought they were friends anyway. But what Stormy is doing right now in the show is trying to portray a heartbreak because her and Melody haven't talked. And real friendship does not require that. And for a person who literally said we're getting to know each other, if she changed her number, it still wouldn't break you because she already shared that she changes her number to avoid the craziness that she might have with her ex. Given the fact that Stormy knew all of this, she still failed to give Melody the benefit of the doubt, but had absolutely no problem sucking up to Destiny. And what Destiny did to her was by far worse than changing a phone number. But that is my opinion, and you guys can let me know what y'all think in the comments, okay? Like the video, subscribe to my channel, hit your notification bell, and I will check you all on the next one.